build-up, all the songs, everything doesn't mean anything unless you get the job done on the field. And both these clubs are absolutely desperate for a result. I think we'll see a really hard, fast, aggressive game and a big start to this first quarter be on the cards.
Even we're struggling with the nerves. You can hardly talk, Roo. Let's get into the action. There is an edge to this game. Ollie Wines back into the team as they spring into action. The kick landed half forward. Sam Gray couldn't quite handle it cleanly under severe duress. And there's Big Jay Schultz taking it over the line.
And a great start to Ollie Wines coming back in after that shocking wrist dislocation.
Kane Corns is going to Trent Cotchin, boys. Got the big job in his last game.
No surprise there. Lobe behind. Down to Corns. He goes into the ground. And the umpire says there's still a bit of sentiment. Pays a free kick to Kane Corns.
Yeah, it was there as well, but good start by Kane. He'll want to go out best on ground. He's that sort of player.
And he's going to lob it up, but it's going to fall a bit short. Martin took it from the marriage tap. Ollie Wines again. He's been influential so far.
Well, he's playing wide of Dustin Martin at this stage. And the issue is now, can they hold it in? This, to me, is whether or not we're going to see a difference. Can they keep the ball inside their forward 50 and play the game in their half more than they have been?
Lack of communication there between Ellis and Revolt. They're on a totally different plane. And the ball goes out of bounds.
Can Westhoff get himself up as well, because he's been that player that most people thought would be the beneficiary of Ryder coming into the side, but he's appeared to be a little bit lost so far this season, so he needs to lift.
Big crowd here at the Adelaide Oval. Tigers against Power. Ebert's been a bit quiet the last couple of weeks. Wines to Corns. Again, there's a good build. Boak, because on the end of it is Hodge. Wasn't in the perfect place for a left footer. Sets it to Monfries, who jumped early.
Yeah, went early, and I think it's Strat Chaplin and will come up with the ball. But Wines has just got his own foot at the moment. 3 minutes in, he's had 3 possessions.
Troy Chaplin, certainly not the most popular man on the Adelaide Oval this afternoon. Well done, Hodge. Ball so far has lived in the forward half for Port. Hasn't amounted to anything really yet.
We've seen Jack Rewald up in the defensive 50. At the moment, they've got Vickery playing as the second forward and Delidio as the primary forward, just 20 metres outside of their attacking 50.
So they crack in again. Marriage, Boak and Martin. Path cleared for McIntosh. Couldn't make contact. Gray, a couple of involvements there, and a third to Westhoff. Again, the build promising. Well, let's see if it comes to anything. There's a chance it will now. Schultz and Wingard. Oh, in fact, it's Sam Gray. Couldn't quite protect it well enough to mark it. He had an opportunity to handball to Wingard, and he didn't take the first option.
It was a great tackle in the finish.
Just picking up the pace again of AFL footy, Sam Gray. Kick goes back to the wing. Vickery, the Tigers playing their 3 tall forwards this afternoon. Dangerous kick into the middle, but effective now that it's come off. Edwards, he had some numbers out the other side. Spots young Corey Ellis at half forward. Got a cool bounce, and he's surrounded by Port Adelaide numbers. Omsch hoping for Boak, but doesn't get there. Grimes, an impediment to that. Now Martin, as they settle down again and try and build with a bit of system. And Ellis drops the mark. Young man. Corey Ellis, just 18 years of age in his 3rd game.
Let's take a look at this one.
Yep.
To me, that's just a push out in a marking contest. Doesn't matter whether your hands are there or your elbows. If you nudge the bloke forward, you should be pinged. He got away with one there. Good luck to him.
Miles. Delidio for the first time. Now Brandon Ellis to the one-on-one. Edwards. Well done, Impey. Delidio able to round it up.
Great handball.
Ellis kept on coming. Dab hand to the hard-leading Revolt.
There's a million handballs these days, Hutto. That was one that creates a goal.
Fights from behind. Might not have realised with the noise that was touched. I mean, it would be very hard to hear the umpire.
Jack Revolt thought it was 50 metres, boys. He had got infringed by Brad Ebert. That's why it was touched off the boot. He's remonstrating with the umpire at the moment.
And they're scrapping away.
Roo, how that wasn't 50 metres is beyond me. He went back to take the set kick, Rewalt, and Ebert just virtually ran across the mark to smother the ball.
Third up, Revolt that time for Miles. Couldn't break through. Under severe pressure. Oh, that's out of the full by Kane Corns.
Wasn't his smartest kick in his 300
no.
game. But Miles He thought he had a chance there, but he was grabbed nicely by Ollie Wines, and he's been rammed into the dirt. A little bit
tender.
A little bit tender maybe on that AC joint.
Round the corner from Morris. Tigers on the board at least, which is something they couldn't do for a fair while in the first quarter last year in that final.
It doesn't look like there's going to be that sort of onslaught. Looks like Jasper Pittard's had a bit of a haircut to their boys. Bit of talk that Hankley's demanded some of the guys with long hair to get a bit of a trim.
If they come out and win, that might be followed right around the league.
Get the clippers out everywhere.
There's a few that could do with it.
A few man buns might have been chopped off during the week.
Behind each so far then. Delidio again with impact. Boston tried to break through, couldn't effectively get through the tackle, and Vickery also found the going difficult. Good pressure though from both sides.
It's a scrap, isn't it?
Tom Jonas in there in the 42 for Port Adelaide.
One side's kicking at 25%, one side kicking, the other's kicking at 42, so that's why it's an ugly game.
Westhoff came as the third and got it down effectively to Ebert, but his kick futile because there's only Tigers there.
They had no one in their forward half.
Amazing.
From a stoppage at half back. That is unbelievable.
Chaplin and Grigg. Take it out to the wing. McIntosh for Morris. Playing that defensive role on Pittard at half forward. Chip to the lead of Edwards. He's good for a middle-sized player above his head. And what a handball to Batchelor. Batchelor runs into goal and does enough. The Tigers get the all-important first.
And they're up and about, the Tigers. They've withstood the initial 3 or 4 minute onslaught, which didn't amount to anything bar 1 point. But they have really hit the ground running here, Richmond. Looking pretty good. Good handball into space. Had a couple of options, but the best one onto the left, straight through.
Gee, they had some space on that half of the forward 50 there, and they ended up getting it there. It took a while to, but once they got it there, they could make the most of it. That was superb by Edwards. Well, we heard David King say that Edwards was perhaps the best player at Richmond this year. Well, he set that one up with a great contest in the air and a recovery and give.
Batchelor's just his 4th goal in his 60-game career. He may have got the edict from Port Adelaide too to have the haircut. Ball goes short, and now Port away through Boat. The response could well be instant, but no, Delidio doing it at both ends. Corns, big kick this into the 50, and executed perfectly for the hard-leading Monfries.
Strong hand from Monfries. It was a good kick, but it took a magnificent mark to complete it.
Played well last week with 3 goals won and good intensity. He's played every game despite the disrupted pre-season so far this year. Next week will be his 200th game.
Oil on the arms there, Hutto.
Yes, Roo. Did you do that when you played? Here's the kick on its way. Away to the right.
Fashion back then.
So 2 behinds Port Adelaide and Richmond 1-1-7.
Oh no.
Dodgy kick in. Miles left to try and clean up the mess. Did a fair job of it. Martin lent a hand, and they might get away. Delidio, Marriage just gave to Edwards, even though he wasn't well placed to receive. Lobe, good tackle, Grimes. Hartler tries to make his move through, can't though. Martin, again hampered, got the handball back. Pressure ramping up off halfback. Kicks hurried from Miles. Over Cracker's head, Lobe's there. Charging hard, Griffiths. Oh, that could have been a free against Grimes. Not paid. Burrowing in hard for all players. And again, a ball up.
Oh, Trengo's down. Oh, and Grimes has gone back and given him one as well. I don't know what that was all about, but
it's coming off.
Trengo was laying on the ground and Grimes come back and gave him another push. That is unusual. Doesn't happen very often in footy.
Westhoff slapped it down. Wingard. Grigg had a little look just to see how much space he had to work in. Homsch came off the bench to apply the pressure. Rance. Good control kick to Cochin. There's obviously plenty of players between he and the goal by now. Port have got an extra couple back. And that made life difficult for Jack Reebok to lead into any sort of space, not helped by the kick from Cochin on the foot.
Here's Trengo on the ground. Now, for Grimes to do that...
A bit untoward, isn't it, really?
It is not what usually happens. Who got in trouble with the Selwood boys? Wasn't it last year?
Oh, there's a dangerous kick, but it's okay. As far as Richmond is concerned, because they've got right across Brandon Ellis. Carlisle, wow, kick right across goal. Only 35 out. I know you've got to switch these days, but you've got to sum them up better than that, Drew.
He's been on fire, Brandon Ellis, coming up for his 6th possession. He's been right in the thick of it. And this was a good intercept mark. Directly in front, should go through and give the Tigers a big start to this match.
Well, a goal here, and it is the complete opposite to the start we saw last year in that final. Ellis, let's see what he's got ahead of him. It's good enough. 2 goals to the Tigers.
Well, the alarm bells are ringing here, Root, because it's very difficult to come back.
Have a look at him. He's loose out here on the right as it is. Have a look.
Yeah, it was a kick off the inside of the boot, but it was too long anyway. I mean, you just can't have that much hang time going past 3 Richmond players, but there's a big opportunity here for the Tigers. Devoid of confidence, Port Adelaide. They've got away to an early start, and they can get them on the rack early if they can continue it.
We spoke about the kicking efficiency earlier. Port Adelaide are kicking at 29% by foot, and there's another mistake by Bobby Carlisle costing a goal.
Martin from hand to foot was effective. Again, Edwards with a deft and effective touch. Corey Ellis through the middle, worked his way around onto the left, and then went for home. Hits the post though.
One thing I've noticed early, lads, is that Richmond are prepared to play wide. They're prepared to play boundary side, really making this a challenge for Port Adelaide. If they do it in their defence, they have to switch the ball. And I think they've learned from last week. They're there to cut it off. They're going to challenge Port on counter-attack.
Well, they're trying to switch again here. That was a safer option from White, but he had to stay pretty deep, Carlisle. So the next kick all important. Brad Ebert's got away from Alice. Took a couple of powerful long kicks, but it's opened up some options through the middle. By hand initially, Schultz cleared the path for Ebert to come again.
Look at this.
Tigers have got all the bases covered though, and Miles took an extra little bobble to take it, but it's job done.
Once again, that first kick across goal, the defensive kick to open it up, didn't hit the target, which means everybody
slows it down.
Gets manned up by the Tigers.
Their forward structure's not working either, Port Adelaide. We've seen a couple of times when they're going in at the moment, there's no one there.
Griffiths with a powerful kick. Hobbs couldn't get the job done in the air. Ebert does on the ground though.
Good running from Ebert.
Hartlett and Carlisle, that's a better kick. More conservative one to Corns.
This is the challenge here. Look at Richmond. They're stalking these kicks. They're really hunting after them now.
You think they see that as a real opportunity today, Kingy, try and turn the ball over through the back 50 and across half back?
I think most of the competition have assessed that that's Port's strength, and they're trying to take it off them.
Yep.
Ryder with a fair bit on it to half forward. Rance did it brilliantly without giving away the free. Now they've paid one though. It's going to the Tigers. Miles to take it, and Alice does enough. Cracker in pursuit. Sam Gray closed late, maybe affected the kick only slightly. Jonas drifting over the top. Here's Morris circling the 50. The Tigers, or trying to at least. Holding the bow in the back. Wow, big call. Almost 52. Bit of a shove there from Tom Jonas on Morris in frustration, and Morris is able to guide it nicely to Delidio, who kicked a couple of big goals for them last week. Playing just his 4th game for the year, Brett Delidio. Kicked 2-2 last week and had a couple of goal assists in his 30 disposal game against the Pies. This, for 3 unanswered goals. It's not going to be yet at least, and they get all the tall timber there to force it through for a minor score.
Spoke during the week about how he shortened his run-up for goal kicking. Brett Delidio worked a couple of times nicely, but didn't really centre that one.
Impey does well. Wingard now. Got Schultz with about 5 metres on Rance. The kick wasn't bad, not perfect. It does enable the Tigers to flood some numbers back though. Just didn't quite get there quick enough for their liking. Schultz.
So there's nothing for him to go to.
He's been cornered. Just gets through to Kane Corns.
Can go again there. Looks like Brad Ebert's on out wide.
Waiting for it from Cracker, but more ambitious kick for Monfries. Tigers to converge on him. And the handball was just a bit of a lofted one. Wines has got a bit of time and space to work in. Some interference on the way through. Loby's left boot into the square. Ryder was an opportunity. Tough one though. Monfries comes home. Ryder the other way. Back out to Boak around the corner. Tigers on guard.
Well, better forward half pressure, Roo. They'd be pleased with that. They wouldn't be happy with the result, but the effort's been there in that last couple of minutes.
And they've got out a few times, the Tigers, though, and here's another example. Hunt for Cochin, a little bit uncertain where the ball was and where Kane Corns was, but worked it out eventually and guides to Griffiths. Revolt demands it. A further 45 metres along. The kick is placed beautifully for him.
Yep.
Jack will take it.
That's 50, is it? No. Oh, God, that was borderline.
He's not happy, Jack. Goes short. Now, Delidio's actually marked that further out from goal than where Revolt did. We know he is a very big kick of the ball, but
he'll kick this.
Shot.
He's a beautiful kick, Brett. They trust him enormously with his goal kicking as well as his field kicking.
So Delidio already had a sider from the other side. It is a good strike, and it's gone through comfortably. Richmond 3 goals to 0.
Good call, Kingy. Beautiful kick. It is a short run-up. Jared didn't look like he was going to get the momentum going, but he did time it absolutely perfectly. And a beautiful kick. And Port Adelaide on the ropes early in this first quarter.
Well, here's the free that we thought he could have drawn a 50-metre penalty. Certainly a push there afterwards. You wouldn't argue with it. He was lucky, and that one's gone the barest of 15 metres. But this one has gone the distance to really send a shudder of worry into Port's box.
Margin out to 17 points.
Inside 50 is exactly the same, 7 apiece. You get one side scoring goals, and the other one having pressured kicks.
So are they playing better, Richmond, or is it just a more effective forward 50?
I think they're playing better all over the ground. Results in goals. Hutto.
Yeah, Marriage hacked it in there. Gave them all a chance. Tringo. Now Westhoff needs to hit Ebert. Chris wasn't allowed to the wing. Again, we've seen this hesitation from the Port players regularly so far. Ryder withstood the pressure, took the mark, and kicks it into Rance's hands. Grigg, Delidio, Grimes, a couple of ways out of there. That wasn't the most convincing choice, and Kane Corns saw a little opening. Happy to take it. Great body awareness by Ollie Wines, but again, doesn't capitalise. A huge return for Port Adelaide is Ollie Wines. Back for his first game since round 3. Here's Rance. The hammer, but gets it away to McIntosh, who goes for broke down the middle. Griffiths onto it, and Westhoff was onto him. Hartlett takes his turn. Being hassled by Edwards. There's plenty in this contest, and we expected it at the Adelaide Oval. It certainly hasn't gone to plan for Port. No repeat of last year's elimination final. In fact, it's the opposite. Port without a goal. They kicked 8 on that occasion in the first term. Martin back to McIntosh. Crowd think Monfries should have been rewarded. Gray wasn't waiting to ask the question. Gave it to his namesake. And now Monfries involved again. They paid the advantage.
Ryder's on his own if they can get it to him.
No, they can't. Schultz bangs it on the full.
Just watching the way that Richmond are defending here, boys. They're really closing space quickly. They're manning the mark. They're not allowing Port Adelaide to go quickly forward. They're allowing them sideways, but nothing at speed going forward.
Crowd getting impatient. Marriage.
What's interesting, though, David, is that they're not playing with that instinctive flair that they did last year. There's been options, and yet they've all taken the easy way out to sit back and then kick the ball across sideways, which has slowed them down.
Westhoff's loose behind the play here.
Umpire decided he didn't actually hang on to the footy completely as it crossed the line.
Westhoff's loose in the fence. You can see him on screen at the moment. It's a tactic they usually use when they're in trouble or to kill time.
Well, Revolt's going to kick it right for his advantage, so it does work for them there.
When they've got a player back like that, they really need to find the loose man and run the ball out.
It had Ebert on short, but obviously didn't spot him. Instead goes to the numbers down the line. Miles has been in the thick of things so far. Interesting, Jared, that Troy Chaplin has drifted into the forward 50 for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's an interesting move, trying to stretch them a little bit. They've got Westhoff down there as well.
So maybe
Port
just
Adelaide
trying to even the numbers up.
Yep.
Batchelor. Umpire barking the orders. Miles took a long time because there was nothing on for him, but eventually finds Troy Chaplin. Wait for the crowd. They let him know about the kick, but it might end up with a Tiger goal anyway. No. Vickery misses, and Kane Corns lets you know all about it. You might as well go out in the same way he's played the other 299.
Yep.
Giving plenty to the opposition. As Damien Hardwick must be delighted with his start. They were poor last week in the opening term against Collingwood. It was a 8-3 second term that got the Tigers going. Well, this is a much better start today.
That was a set play kick into Ryder and Lobie at the same area. You can see how much flight he put on the ball. Just putting it up for him to have a jump at it, but couldn't get the grab.
Chaplin's now just pushed back into defence. Kick behind the play.
That's what he loves doing, playing by himself, loose behind the play.
Hartlett up to the wing, tough for Sam Gray. McIntosh, who's had quite an impact in his career so far this year, coming into the team. He's played every game so far, 15 disposals last week. Revolt had a second go at it. And again, the numbers converge. Hard to make any headway in there. So down to the last 5 minutes of the opening term. Port still without a goal. Defending grimly right at the moment. Corns, Wingard. 25 disposals last week, but not being able to affect the same damage as he'd like in front of goal.
See, look at this. Port Adelaide are pushing everyone down. They got no one in their forward line.
That's a good result.
Well, it's a good territory kick. And it may prove to be the start of their first goal, but they needed to get that boundary line, otherwise it was coming straight back. And it was really, I think, just a momentum move by Ken Hinkley just to block it up. Didn't want to concede another goal.
Grigg. And there's your call from the umpire. Wingard for Ebert. Bit of protection going on off the ball. The hands were good from Corns. Gray. They walked that tightrope along the line. Schultz came and went. Monfries out to Boat. Cornered on the line. Schultz had to wait. He did it brilliantly to allow Monfries to cut through, but just as good in response, Brett Delidio.
They moved the ball quick here, the Tigers. There's plenty of space down the field.
He's had an outstanding first quarter. Went forward, kicked a goal, but he's also helped with the patrolling of the back 50, Delidio. And now Batchelor.
They're good players are getting plenty of the ball. Delidio with 8, Ellis with 8. Martin with 7.
Cotchin's just had the 2, so he's found it hard to shake the Kane Corns tag. Hartlett. Grigg stood up. And now they break as a result. Cotchin short.
Look at the space in the forward 50.
Griffiths going to kick it into the space. Martin deep. That's enough to make any defender nervous.
Oh, he thought about it, the umpire. It was definitely a grab around the head for Dustin Martin when Martin, he started the body contact.
Why haven't we seen Martin in the 450 like that more this year? Last year was one of the best one-on-ones, Gerard. It's amazing, really, isn't it?
It was a change of strategy. Started there in the first few minutes last week, but they didn't get the ball in there, obviously, early.
they've had Martin, Cochin and Delidio rotating through forward. So at all times there's one of their three gun midfielders in the forward 50.
Delidio was really effective last week, wasn't he, Kingy, when he pushed really deep forward at times?
Yeah, and Cochin was as well. They both kicked 2 goals last week.
Now we get a ball up.
Kingy, what's the idea of playing Morris in the forward line this year? He's been a small defensive player his whole career. Just to hold the ball in the forward 50 more, or is he defensive forward? Or
he's not expected to kick goals, but he's expected to create them, harassing, and he's done a great job so far today.
And so does Boak do a great job on the burst for Port, but again the cupboard completely bare, nothing to kick to other than empty space, and so they charge towards the footy, and it's Hooley that handles it well. Caught on the line, he was captured, done, holding the ball.
Well, that's good defensive chasing here. Schultz and Matty White. That kick from Boak was to grass. He wanted White to basically just go on a one-on-one sprint with Basher Hooley, and they won the ball back nicely.
Schultz into the pocket. You have to wonder, though, Roo, how many goals they're going to be able to kick if they've got nobody there at all.
Well, I think they're trying to stop the opposition at the moment, Hutto, but 6 marks to 1 inside forward 50. You can see their Tigers' way, but this forward structure would be frustrating a lot of people at the ground or even watching on TV at the moment for Port Adelaide.
As you can see, the Tigers have been creating much more opportunities inside the forward 50, and again it comes away. Vostone back to the wing and wrapped up beautifully.
It's a reverse this time. There's no one down there for the Tigers.
Alistair Martin.
I'll ping him for that one, though.
Yep. Throw in his ball. So he just had enough on it, relied on the bounce.
What is it? Is it a... Yeah, for throwing. Gee, it's inconsistent, that rule, isn't it?
Saying it went straight, the kick. Razor Ray.
Straight out.
Just the boundary line happened to bend in there, is saying. I think it does in most places and most grounds in that spot. McIntosh inside, but the juggling mark taken by Westhoff.
Good third up jump there by Vickery, and there was just way too much space. A good clearance orchestrated.
Well, it was okay movement by Port, but the Tigers were in just the right spots, as we talked about. Again, Kingy, it breaks down for them on the way out.
Well, that's the plan, isn't it? Allow them the first switch, but then close space, get in their face. Look at Port Adelaide. They've had 12 opportunities out of the defensive 50, and not one has gone inside the forward 50 yet.
And the reason why Ollie Wines got caught there is because he hesitated, because he had no one to kick to.
Yep.
It wasn't Ollie's fault.
Tigers work it around until Brandon Ellis was able to do that. Into the arc. Wines. Straight back to Brandon Ellis.
That was Ollie's fault.
And Ellis has been a significant player in this first quarter. Their work rate without the ball in hand, Richmond, at the moment is really good.
Ellis has had 10 disposals in the first quarter and a goal. Great start.
Grigg sets it up. Vickery and Revolt went after it. Delidio.
Tell you what, Westhoff has had a massive role to play back there. Shifting him back, if it wasn't there, it'd be very ugly, I would have thought.
Taken a couple of marks back there and had 5 disposals so far. 17 seconds to see off here for Port Adelaide, but they are going to be goalless at quarter time. Richmond have kicked 3 and looking for their 4th here. Miles to give them one last shot at it. Westhoff again impedes their progress. Comes to ground and Boakes gets it through, able to get it away to Wines. And so it is quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. And a wonderful start for Richmond on the road. They have taken it to Port Adelaide. They've kicked the only 3 goals of the quarter, and they lead by 19 points.
At will, they had Chad Wingard just looking up, going ping into the middle. Jasper Pittard was the same. Broadbent not playing
today.
today.
Had 1 today.
Yeah, they've locked down on him really well.
They're their 2 big running players.
Well, let's see if things change in the second term.
And that's why Morris is in the side, Rooted to do that job on him.
Very low bounce. Ryder was able to guide it. Gray to Wines. Advances midway through the square and kicks to an unguarded Wingard. Wow, that was pretty simple.
Well, that's one element that they haven't been able to do and do well, and that's win the contested ball from the centre clearance and then get it into an uncrowded forward line.
And have a look at the Port players giving each other a pat on the back. They know that They need to turn around their season. At the moment, they did it there at the centre bounce.
Good start by the skipper there, releasing handball, and that's what they need to be able to do. Get the player on the outside so he can have an unpressured kick.
Well, this is an unpressured kick, and it's executed very well by Wingard. Finally, a goal for Port.
Well, it's an easy game of footy when you win it from the centre clearance and you hit somebody on the chest inside 50, Roo.
Absolutely, in the space Wingard got. I don't know how you get that at the start of the game, but he did, and a great start for Port Adelaide. Just serious, just sneaking around the back there.
Tigers are obviously pushing their defence up.
No, first mistake in the back 50 for the Tigers, and well done to Port Adelaide.
Well, it was really interesting to have a look at the Tigers just pushing up their numbers, leaving some space behind. Wingard exploited it, and there's the inside 50s at the moment, 18-10.
So I guess if the ball came out of the middle without much system, they would have had numbers there.
They've had it nicely. So it all relies on pressure. The whole game these days is trying to pressurise the kick so you win the ball back and launch from there.
Gray out of the middle. The time he took has enabled Richmond to get their entire team back between where the ball is now and the goals. So forging and finding an effective path is not easy.
And that's the sort of kick we're talking about. That was a courageous kick, but he trusted himself. He hit the target.
Ebert goes to the numbers, and Schultz, again, it was a calculated kick. Well done, Batchelor. Winds in the right spot, but can't match his smarts in winning the ball with his kicking. And it's out on the full.
Well, he's the fresh player for Port Adelaide at the moment. Now has more possessions than anyone on the ground, Ollie Wines. 11 disposals. Superstar, and they've missed him in the contested possession and clearance area over the last few weeks with that wrist.
Hunt kicks the half back, but it's going no further. Hartlett, he does decide to pull the trigger and regrets it now, I'm sure. Maybe that was, though, we are seeing what Ken Hinkley must have said to them at quarter time, which is what you were discussing there, Jared.
You just got to trust yourself. They're down, they're well and truly underperforming, but they've got to maintain the faith in their game plan, and that is to take risks, to play on at all opportunities. That time it wasn't the right option, but it wasn't the decision, it was the execution.
Corns, Hartlett. It's still what was thrown at him, and there's a kick crafted by Gray.
What's Jack doing back there, Hutto?
Well, what modern full forwards do, they get back in the last line of defence.
And open up the space for Delidio. If they can move it in quickly, he's a hard man to beat one-on-one.
Grigg, there's danger about that kick, and we saw it. Ebert has been pivotal so far. Westhoff was wondering where Grigg was. Eventually it works out for him. He's kicked it around the corner and hit the post.
Some signs, though, Hutto.
Yep.
You can just see them starting to do some intercepts, trying to keep the ball, get repeat entries inside forward 50. Tigers just need to slow it down a little bit here, get some possession and take some heat out of it. Very stiff there, Westhoff. Was a good move.
Crowd can sense it. Tigers can feel it. Martin to half back. Schultz is in front, the former Tiger. Can't mark. Oh, Rance back through the legs. Ball started in the midfield last week, which was interesting, to say the least. Revolt, and they crowd him out. I'll have a ball up.
Well, the Power fans are on their feet again. They realise that Port have come out a different side since quarter time. They like what they see. 5 inside 50s to none.
Jasper Pittard just working off the back to be the spare player if there's a rush kick forward.
Boat through it. Good point now for Boak as he argued the toss with the umpire. They're on their way. Powerful kick, wasn't it? Out of there from McIntosh.
That's a great mark.
Because he was covering Edwards, who bolted forward. He covered him and then chose to leave him again and to go over and take the mark. Well done, Pittard. Had a quiet first quarter with only one disposal, but courageous mark there.
Stone was arguing that maybe he spoiled him, but Boak. And now they can charge through Homsch. To Jonas. On the edge here, Carlisle through the middle. They've found their way to Impey. Oh. Left it behind. The ball's still there. Trengove, the defender, and kicked like one. Into the pocket. Hard one to contain.
Kicked like an old one. Not a modern day defender, but
but they're getting numbers at the ball to enable them to make an error, a couple of errors, a couple of fumbles there, but they had enough people with momentum charging through the footy that they still orchestrated a pretty deep inside 50 chance.
Look at that stat, 91% of the ball's been in the forward 50 for Port in the second quarter.
White, what can they make of it? Hartlett went straight into a Tiger brick wall. Edwards to Grigg, and he just drives it down the line. Should be contained here. No. The fumble from Pittard, all important. Revolt held on for as long as he could. Wild handball cracker. Traps it, considers. Tries to map out a plan. And the plan was Westhoff. And the plan comes together as he marks it about 80 metres out from goal. Kicks it into the pocket. They've got a run on. Can they do something with it? No, the fist was strong. And it belonged to the number 2 and the Tigers. Guernsey, Dylan Grimes. And it's over the boundary.
Well, he's just working his way into some form here at the moment, Justin Westhoff. Chaplin needs to really just lock down on him before it becomes a major issue.
They're pressing hard, Port Adelaide. Lobie comes as the extra to tap it down. Miles straight into Ryder and then to Hartlett. He's a little fortunate.
Pressing hard, but no damage done. The Tigers have absorbed a lot here.
Yeah, just conceded the 1 goal for the quarter.
They've had 7 inside 50s in a row, Jared. They're under absolute siege. I like the move of Rewald a bit higher up the ground when they've lost total control of this game, Richmond. Get your stars where the ball is.
And that's not a great kick.
That was a mark, wasn't it?
Flostone. Rewald has pushed forward now. And also Grigg drifting into the middle. Rewald's bolted to the square. He saw him in time. Rewald comes up and should mark this. Carlisle did an amazing job not to give the free away. Look at the desperation from Morris. Matched now by Carlisle. And we have a ball up. The intensity in this game is immense. And we've travelled 7 minutes into the second term. Was this a mark?
I thought he had control of the ball before he flicked it.
Morris hard at it. Lobie gets a Tiger from each side.
Straight up. Thanks, David. It's okay. Let it go. It's okay.
Vickery slow to try and get. I think he might have hurt himself there, Vickery. His knee looks decidedly wobbly.
I can't ball it up with him right there in training.
You can't put any weight on it.
As soon as he's out, I can go. Take your time.
He's still there. That's good umpiring. You can't play it.
As soon as he's outside the 50,
Gee.
This does not look good for Ty Vickery.
Can't even bend it.
good on your Oscar. Okay. Pop that, mate. Here we go.
Look at his face. The pain.
Put in. Robbie, keep him down, mate.
There's always a reluctance to call for the stretcher because of what happens after that, but it means you're a man down for, can be for a good minute or so.
Ease up. Keep him down, please.
You don't like looking at knee injuries, turn away, but he's fallen straight across it.
He's okay. It's a meter.
Just can't put any weight on it at all.
Revolt. White. Swing and a miss. Miles. Martin. On guard back there is Jack Hopsch. Made it tough for Pittard. Ellis gets to the right spot.
Skinny side.
Just butchering the ball there unnecessarily, Port.
Move it on. Play on.
They're still fighting against themselves at the moment. Port Adelaide, ball in hand.
Just can't make unpressured errors like that coming out of defence.
Ellis is on his own again.
Yes. Mark.
Just gets to Miles.
Hold true.
There's a hobbling Ty Vickery going down the race.
Play on.
Some treatment. Miles into the pocket. Is there a mark on offer? Corn's got it to Gray. And now Pittard turned, but
nice tackle.
was ferocious.
Super tackle.
Hard at the man. And then hard at the ball as well, Boak. couldn't operate as he would have liked.
Well, Pitt was just about out and launching one down to a couple of his forward teammates, in particular Paddy Ryder, but that is a brutal tackle. And he's been really impressive today.
Lobie over the top. Again, there's no way out. And the margin remains 12 here.
Hands off. Thank you. Ball please now, Anthony. Now. Coming out here.
Marriage, Miles. To Cochin, just gave it across to Hunt. Oh.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Time back on. Hold that.
20 going on. Cochin. Oh, Revolt's got away. Either a block of some sort or a lack of concentration.
That was Cochin's first disposal in the second quarter. We're 11 minutes down. So Corns is doing a great job and a beautiful kick to Revolt.
Stay on that line. Don't go over. No. Go back. Yes, he is. 1 metre. Jack. Sorry. 1 metre.
Marriage and Corns with plenty to say to each other. I don't think Ivan was paying tribute to Kane Corns in his 300-game career there. But Jack Revolt, this is a big kick for the Tigers. Port have had so much of the play in this quarter. Revolt should gobble this one up, and he duly does. Back to a 3-goal margin at Adelaide Oval.
It's a good little move there by the Tigers. Just counter pressure. They kept it inside forward 50, and it's drawn the mistake. Have a look at Alapati Carlisle here, bottom of screen, and you see Jack Riewoldt is in front, and then he lets him go, and then he's ball watching, and he can't make up the distance. That's an easy mark, and a mistake from Carlisle, who's had a good season to date back in the side today.
It was a costly error, wasn't it?
Carlisle there just very almost lazy, wasn't it, really? Just hoping that someone else was going to pick him up, and paid the ultimate price.
And despite that inside 50 differential in this quarter, Richmond pretty much on level terms with Port. A goal each in the term, and the Tigers preserving their 3-goal advantage. Miles for Revolt again.
About 2 metres, Jack. About 2 metres,
A little bit lucky there, the Tigers. It looked to me to be a free kick for diving across legs, but umpire looked at it and ignored it. So they're setting another one up here for Jack Riewoldt. So whilst they'd lost the handle on the game for 5 minutes, they've absorbed the pressure, and now it's counter-attack time.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jared? A lazy bit of play by Alapati Carlisle set up the last goal. Wouldn't have happened otherwise, and this wouldn't have happened as well. So, gee.
Kicked 35 goals in 10 games against Port Adelaide coming in. Kicked 3 goals, 2 last year in that forgettable final against Port Adelaide. Here he is. So 2 in a row for the Tigers at a critical juncture in the game. It's Richmond by 4 goals.
We've talked about work rate, and Port Adelaide have been talking about work rate all year. They're saying it's not there, they're not doing the little things, and that's what it's all about. Let's have a close look at why this has happened.
He's just doing the 360s, isn't he? He's up and he's back, and he's actually lost sight of him.
Yeah.
Alapati has played from the front, which is, I think, the right way to go if there's a quick ball, but on a slow ball, you lose your man.
Perfect work by Jack Riewoldt. He's just moving around. He's not allowing big Bobby Carlisle to get set. Moving around, losing him, and then getting a couple of metres and a great kick. Brings up another goal for Jack.
No one to raise best in the middle. Clearance is favouring the Tigers in this term. Margins blown out to 24 points. Crowd restless again. They thought things had turned around, but now they have to think again. Boak inside the 50. Tigers have the extra there. Rance makes sure of it. He's almost could have claimed the mark. Grimes was a willing assistant. West off. Here's Boak. Little bounce handball through to Monfries, and then to Boak again.
The frustration there by Trav, smacking the ball away when he went over the line.
Well, on that occasion, they benefited from having the extra defender up the ground. It was Alex Rance. They had a couple of, well, they had one spare, Port Adelaide deep, but ball didn't get there.
Is it coming out? No, not yet. Cracker jams it on the boot. Richmond players everywhere. So
good frontal pressure from the Tigers. They're just up and at them, aren't they? Roo, they are not allowing any space, any time to make a considered decision with their disposal.
Yeah, and that's why they're kicking at 56%, Port Adelaide. Just a lot of pressure on the ball carrier, but then they're making them mistakes even without pressure at times.
There it's the tap. Ryder, Westhoff. A high one, Schultz. He knows where Rance is. Tried to kick it out of the air. Now Hooley. Prepared to bounce it. Run across that last line. And kick it, hoping for marriage. Again, the extra numbers, the extra bodies with Port Adelaide. Cracker, some indecision. Kick in hope more than anything. And Lobe almost got there. No free kick.
Great give.
Brilliant handball, Wingard. And Monfries gave it what it deserved, which was a goal to finish it.
Well, the finish was good, but the goal assist was better. We'll have a look in a minute. Monfries.
Well, they need some individual brilliance maybe to spark them here, Roo. I know it's about an overall team effort, but maybe a couple of those sort of things which they were renowned for last year can get them going.
Wingard got the first goal of this quarter, and he set that one up as well. Doesn't need a lot of time to have a big influence on the game, Chad, and that was a beautiful piece of handball.
What do you make of it, Kingy? 11 inside 50s to 4 this quarter, 2 goals each. What do you reckon?
Well, that's the first repeat entry that they've scored from. Richmond been really good down back at just minimising the damage, considering the Port Adelaide opportunities early this quarter. It's a stoppage game at the moment. Whoever wins out of the centre looks like scoring.
Ryder does just that, but Batchelor.
Hold there. Play on. You, mate.
It's across to Hunt.
Play on. Hey, go.
Then to Hooley. Batchelor keeps coming for the next. It's slow ball movement here. It's considered. It's certainly allowing Port to place a wall down the line.
Play on.
That's where he's headed anyway. Batchelor to the numbers. Ryder in front. Extra reinforcements came from Holmes over the top.
They've certainly been prepared to play wide today, Richmond, haven't they? Not allowing any fast break on the turnover, which is taking a lot of Port Adelaide's speed out of their game.
Oh, there he's on.
Just saw Menadue on the ground, so that doesn't spell good news for Ty Vickery. We'll check in with Kingy on that in a moment. The ball close to the line. Alice took it from Delidio, and it was already out.
Yeah, he has been substituted out of the game, Ty Vickery. A right knee injury. Didn't look good from the vision we witnessed earlier. We'll get a full report at half-time.
Runner, get out of the way.
There's those uncontested marks.
So, mate.
Good space at the front. They've taken advantage of it. Ellis again. Just getting away from that.
Brute strength. Too strong, too good. We've seen that before.
Well, Kingy spoke about stoppages. There was just way too much spare space at the front of this stoppage, and they were good enough with Brandon Ellis running onto it, executing a couple of possessions, and then basically a dribble kick. Let's have a look. Here's the space at the front.
Watch Ellis. He's on Matty White at the moment, but look at White. He's lost the yard there, and that's all it takes. 1 metre is enough, and he just gets the ball forward. That should not have happened, and they are the little things that cost you dearly.
That's why he's a tough one-on-one contested player in that deep in that forward line. He's like a bull, Dustin Martin. He's got great strength and great footy nous.
Sometimes you get what you deserve in footy, and Matty White, they're giving away 1.5 metres on the back of Bobby Carlisle doing it. Well, to Jack Revolt have cost him goals.
Hit hard with a bit of brilliance out of the middle to get them deep. Lobe is going to lob on his head. Fighting tooth and nail Chaplin, but it gets through to Gray. Again, the slick hands. The brilliance of Wingard.
Magnificent tap from Wingard. Under enormous pressure. It was a good contest, but it relied on brilliance. And the forwards are delivering brilliance. The backs are delivering rubbish at the moment for Port Adelaide. unless they get that right, it won't matter how many great goals they can orchestrate deep in their forward line.
Watch Wingard, guys. He's just coming to the front of Lovey now. Just keep your eyes on Wingard. Here it is. Bang.
Oh, that's magnificent. Another quick clearance, another quick goal.
And another piece of brilliance from Chad Wingard, who's had his hand in all 3 goals this quarter.
So the inside 50's pretty tight.
Tight for the match, but not for the game. It's 5-12, as you said earlier, Hutto, this quarter. Port Adelaide this quarter. Port Adelaide have worked hard, but they just haven't been anywhere near as efficient. They've been poor in defence when it's been their turn to turn the ball back.
He's got him over the shoulder. Thanks, Trent.
Kane Corns in that one-on-one battle with Trent Cotchin.
He's only had 4, Cotchin. Kane's had 13.
So one last victim perhaps for Kane Corns, but they need to change the important numbers. That's on the scoreboard. So the Tigers they're going with the 3 tall forwards for the first time this year. And unfortunately, it's that experiment's over because Ty Vickery's injured.
I think that's why a few people are concerned why Kane Corns is retired. He's still beating the best players in the game.
Pinard into the 50, Robbie Gray, here's more danger. These little gems in the forward 50 are keeping Port Adelaide in the contest.
2 minutes. 2. Yeah. With me, Jake. With me. Not with me. 1 metre out.
So Wingard, who's been instrumental in a couple of fine goals by his teammates.
Gray, Wingard, Monfries. They were the 3 real dangerous players in the forward 50 last year.
Here's Chad Wingard. Oh, dear.
Long run up, you can get a lot wrong in a long run up like that. And Delidio, I think, probably took it from the likes of a Tony Lockett, and Peter Dacos had really short run ups, didn't get a lot wrong.
So yeah, Wingard doesn't miss too many goals like that. He's a star finisher.
Griffiths gave it plenty, but it wasn't well directed. Ryder camped in the right spot. He ignored Hartland out this side. Totally bypassed, didn't go straight to full forward, hoping that the Chad will fly again. Didn't take the mark. Grimes, was he tackled high? No, he wasn't.
Well, the Tigers are playing really good footy there. 17 points up, they're away from home. They couldn't have asked for a better position with the half-time siren not far away, but Port Adelaide are starting to show some signs, particularly in one half of the ground.
Cotchin, it was a dangerous place to be kicking the footy, but Edwards was just in the right spot for him, and Revolt fights a good fight against 2.
Did well there, Jack.
Even that kick route, it's a plan to go wide. Don't dump the ball straight back down the line and give Port Adelaide a chance to counter-attack. They're playing this very smart.
Good call, Kingy.
They're actually after the boundary line so they can get the cavalry up somewhere close to their attacking half.
Dustin Martin through the middle.
Stuff.
Batchelor, not the best handball for Corey Ellis. The young man feeling it there. Ebert gets crashed into the turf.
The Tiger defenders are yelling out at their midfield. They had Monfries and Wingard run ahead of the ball there, anticipating a loose ball coming forward.
Ellis got it quickly, but Honch has gone back for a bit of reinforcement.
Yeah, he was the loose there, Honch.
To Carlisle. They've been forced really wide, though, here. So they're not a lot closer to goal.
I think if I was Damien Hardwick, I would say to Jack Greenwald, you just stay deep. You're doing really well against that of Paddy Carlisle. He's down on confidence. He doesn't know whether to play in front or behind. Don't worry about going up the ground.
Lines flew, but Martin was ready for it. He gets a second chance. Cracker has to go and realised it. The kick was pulled a little bit. Could have gone anywhere. Fostone was hoping the boundary line. He threw it. Good tackling from Big J Schultz. On 50.
That kills you.
That's a bonus, isn't it?
What was the 54?
He just dropped the ball. Grimes had the ball in his hands. He just released it to the ground. He thought the umpire wouldn't catch him, but he did. That's what happens, Hutto, when you take on someone who's played the game. Jordan Bannister understands exactly what he's doing.
Well, they just missed one from here. Can't afford to miss another one. The ball in pretty safe hands, you'd think, with Jay Schiltz. 92% probability. Oh, there's that 8% though.
What are they doing, Paul? That's Wingard and Schiltz, two of the best goal kickers in the game. Have missed shots from less than 20 metres out.
You can't believe it, Kenny.
It's 3-6 now.
Schiltz goalless. That was in fact his first score of the game. Batchelor gets them out of there for the moment. Griffiths looks likely, but Trengove did the right thing. Edwards sneaking away, but had no one to give it to, had to be holding the ball.
He was in a difficult situation. He could have given a half-metre handball to Morris, but Morris would have been tackled anyway. And so he elected to keep the ball. It was a great chase from behind.
Now, change of angle for Port. Jonas over to Hopsch. Again, they've been forced really wide. And Sam Gray slides in, takes the mark. Ebert's kick into the pocket. Lobie won't get there. Griffiths getting back on patrol. Grigg to Grimes. Uncertainty. Where to next? Watch out of arm. Well, play on the call. Wingard to Ebert, trying to arch the back. Sees off Edwards, then goes to ground. It's hard going in there for both teams. Comes back to Edwards. Heaves it onto the wing. Griffiths well placed to mark. Got a little shove anyway.
Well, that was great forward pressure by Port, but it was brilliant defence by Richmond in the finish. This game's gone right up to another level. 16
points the difference. Port have missed 2 sitters in this quarter. It could be a lot closer.
There it is.
Should be a kick the difference, Hutto.
Stay there.
Alice. His 15th disposal coming up. Level with Wines, Boak and Delidio. Griffiths. Trengove maybe had the arm. Carlisle burst his way through. It was good play. Cracker had to go back into the traffic. Boak and Delidio in combat out there. Delidio, excellent play. Creative always. And Martin goes to Marriage.
Could have bombed away there.
That's play on, is it?
15.2. Could have blazed away there, Dusty, but
Inside the 50 metres. So that's fine.
found big over.
Over 1 metre.
This is what happens too, Hutto. You miss those easy goals and then it goes down the other end. It happens all the time. Massive difference in how your side thinks when you miss goals and what the opposition think.
Hard to cop, isn't it? Shane Edwards in career best form. He's pushed it to the left.
Let's go.
Too much so. Lets them off the hook.
Yeah, a bit disappointed down there, the Richmond Army. They've had plenty of travel and they're enjoying themselves.
Wow, that kick was full of danger.
Hold. Out, please, guys. Out.
Matty White has enjoyed a fruitful time since crossing to Port Adelaide from the Tigers.
Hasn't had much of it this year, though, Hutto. With the side dropping off, a player like Matty White goes with it.
Just had 7 disposals last week. Only averaging 13 a game over the past month.
I think he's a player that plays well on a good side.
He gives you that outside run, doesn't he? So Richmond's lead is 17. Hodgson, Corns, Hartland. Things open up. Monfries has a quick glance inside, but decides to go down the line to the reliable Schiltz. Gray and Wingard pushing back to the square. He's on his feet, thinking about either. Doesn't get there, or does in the end to Wingard on the bounce. Not easy for him. Schiltz from the stand start. Westhoff. Monfries, body was turning, trying to get out of there. Cochin. And shut down smartly by Schiltz. But Tigers won't mind too much. They've got 1:45 to see off.
The efficiency 57, Port Adelaide 71, the Tigers.
Harris has a little look over his shoulder. The tap goes to the front. interesting. No prior call. Revolt and Carlisle.
Free kick, holding.
Free kick here, boys, to Griffiths. Jack's trying to steal it.
Down to the last 1 minute 25.
They'll stay wide. That's been their plan all day. Stay wide, minimise the damage. Hutto, I think this has served them really well for the first half. I wouldn't be surprised they go with it again the second half route.
Yeah, absolutely. Just limiting the opportunity for turnover that Port can score from.
Oh, brilliantly handled by Morris. He's not going to just wait to half-time. He's going for more glory for the Tigers. Oh, terrific turnaround from Westhoff with someone so dangerous like Delidio. Damien Hardwick, frustrated man, but they might get the chance for the goal anyway. Griffiths does get the chance and takes it.
Wow.
There's a dagger.
That hurts. Hoff did all the great work going back there. He was at the other end of the ground. Only recently, have a look at the grab here by the Hoff. Usually you give away free kicks when you do that, but he did it perfectly and took the grab. And look at this kick. It wasn't much better by Pittard, was it?
He just wasn't quite ready for it, was he? But he's still there to be marked.
Didn't need that before half-time.
Which one, Trap? Which one?
Oh, it's almost a 4-goal margin.
Tommy Lee.
Griffiths back in the team after missing a week with concussion. Margin 23. Last 40 seconds of the quarter. Hartlett spotted something he liked. That was Carlisle. And now Pittard. He's got the ball out of this spot a few times today and caused some havoc. Into the pocket. Wines. There's a bit going on off the ball as well. Snaffled and got the handball to Matty White. Have they got the precision? Wines took a moment just to have a look where to kick it, but couldn't find his mate in the pocket, and it's out of bounds. Such a powerful young man, Ollie Wines. And an outstanding career, just over the 50-game mark.
And twice as many inside 50s this quarter, Port Adelaide, 18-9.
Edwards. Westhoff.
Oh, look.
Against the clock. This will be a race for Griffiths. If anyone can kick a goal from a
Morris is bolting forward.
Yeah, time's going to beat them, though. If anyone was a chance to kick a goal from the wing, it's probably Ben Griffiths. Even that's beyond him. And there's a bit going on still. Just stay with it for a moment here. We know there's a lot of tension between these two sides. There's plenty of history. Another chapter today. This time, it's a wild swing from last year when Port Adelaide thrashed the Tigers. They're still having a go at it, boys.
Fancy Jack being involved. They need more run.
A beautiful sight. Here's the Adelaide Oval, but if you're a Port Adelaide fan, it's not too pretty on the scoreboard. Tigers will be loving it. 23 points the difference as we get into the third term. And you heard the thump in the middle of the Adelaide Oval. And they crash in. Hartlett, Corns. His last half of footy coming up. Oh, dubious as to whether there was any, but Pittard turned it into something good. Jonas pokes it for Boak.
What about the run from Boak?
He's given it as much as he can. Wingard again was looming, but Hawley, now Chapman's able to get it across to Hawley. And into half back. Hobbs called upon. Takes the mark.
Well, Hartlett was given a run in the middle of the ground, so he's been given the challenge. He's got to find some of the Sherrin.
Just eases the ball to about 35 out. The Tigers spoil each other. Miles took it, braced himself for contact. And we'll have the ball up.
Thank you. Cheers, thank you. Coming out here.
So who's going to have the energy at the start of this third term? Gray tried to make a breakthrough there. Didn't happen. Martin didn't really clear the danger completely. Morris flies. Delidio shells the handball out. Brilliant stuff from the Tigers. They stay ahead of the game. Martin had nobody, not a friend in sight. Had to turn back into the oncoming traffic, but did it with
brilliant
aplomb and gets it to half forward. Griffiths now turns. Revolt, the only option. Carlisle's just a bit slow to react to the change And that's a matchup that's really working for the Tigers at the moment. I wonder if they'll make a move at any stage. McIntosh can kick a long ball. He tried to squeeze one out, but couldn't quite. Wines hits hard the other way. Final minutes of the opening stage of this second term. Martin, a thorn in their side again. McIntosh hunts it down. Ball up for grabs. Rance couldn't get anything on the kick. Porter got some resources here. Can they use them effectively? A standoff for Wines. Gets it through to Wingard. A change of mind. An ordinary little handball through. And it was tough for Schultz on the bounce. It's over and out. And Hooley, the latest to go to ground for the Tigers. And he saw maybe a dislocated finger. Basher Hooley. He's in real pain.
It's a stern examination, isn't it? Elapati Carlisle is alone inside forward 50, and Jack Riewoldt, who's done him over a few times tonight, is there one out.
His mobility's getting it at the moment.
We know Carlisle missed last week, so he may not be 100%.
Now, that might be an issue, but at the moment it's irrelevant. He's out there. He seems to run much quicker in a straight line, Elapati, than when he has to do the U-turns.
Pithard still inside the defensive 50.
And that's the kick that they love.
Yeah, and open it up. Stimulate them for something more through the middle. Carlisle got off Riewoldt that time. Maybe that's going to be his tactic. Again, just a little tough bounce. And a slip over didn't help Monfrey's cause. Delidio knew the pressure was on him to release. Hunt angles the kick. Menadue.
Much better pressure here from Port Adelaide. Angus Monfrey's got an opportunity there it's slippery out there. The ball's going to skid on through, and it got onto him a lot quicker than he expected.
Lines up. Westhoff. It's coming back. Gray. Grimes. And that's out on the full.
Just having a look down here on the bench. The Doc's doing some work on Basher Hooley's neck and shoulder area. He must have come down really hard just in front of the bench a moment ago. Hopefully he'll be right to go in about 2 minutes or so.
Dylan Grimes. Kicks to the numbers. Jack Cox is having a very good year. Sprightly on his feet, brings it back into corns. He was inches away from disaster. Impey. Now, does he think he's a chance from here? Gets back quickly to look at what's on offer for him.
He should be able to kick it. He's going to kick from 52.
No, doesn't have it go. Instead he goes wide. Pretty low percentage play. Gray. Hoping for a free, I think, more than anything there. Grimes spinning. Great tackle low. Jonas. Oh, and holding the ball.
It's great pressure here by Port Adelaide. Impey, you've got Paddy Ryder down there, who's a great contested mark. I reckon that's a better option than trying to work your way through the boundary line.
That's exactly what they haven't had all year, Jared. Tackles inside their forward 50, repeat opportunities.
So Tom Jonas, a rare trip this close to goal. Just one goal in his 64-game career to full forward. It came from all angles. Out of there from Marriage. It's left to Matty White, and he gets the job done.
So get it in quickly if you're going to use him.
Swings it,
not.
Tries a different angle. The handball from Trengo. This time Impey's close enough. Is he straight enough? He's not.
Really good defence again from Richmond. They're getting shots away, but they're making them take them from either wide out or making them go to a very, very difficult option, which is 5 metres out in front of the square, and the whole world knows the ball's going there.
Margin 22. Not a great exit strategy.
Well
brilliant stuff, wasn't it, from Riewoldt? Menadue works the handball through. Wasn't perfect for Flosdone, but he's done really well. Riewoldt got to the right spot and down to Grigg. This has been an excellent transition from the Tigers under some pressure.
Well, he's looking for the boundary, and he's finally got it deliberately. Good call.
Banged him.
So Grigg. Riewoldt still up the ground, so he won't be an option.
That was smart by Grigg. He didn't engage him. He made Trengo make the play.
Delidio was behind, and he couldn't get past Hartley.
Well, you'd like to have the luxury of having him kick the ball out of defence in this team.
He commits to this side, and no synchronicity at all with his teammates. They didn't know what he was doing. I'm not entirely sure he did.
Still want him back there, Jared?
Which goes to prove that just because you're a good-looking kick doesn't mean you're a great kick. That was a shocking decision.
Richmond was stalking him though, Jared. They've done that all day. They've done that really well. Competition's changed the way they defend against Port Adelaide.
Troy Chaplin.
This will hurt.
This will hurt in more ways than one, but they'll enjoy that. The kick goes to the top of the square and it's out of bounds.
There's no excuse for Hartlett, though, Kingy. He's a much better player and a better kick. It just, I think, gives us further indication as to just how low on confidence a lot of these players are. Here he is. I mean, he normally would pinpoint either one of those through the long option or the short, and he went the middle.
He was kicking that to Brad Ebert, and Brad Ebert didn't have a clue. He kept running.
Lobie. Again, they're outnumbered and outbodied. Well done, Ryder. Fought a draw and it actually turned in their way. Monfries, a crash on top of him. No way out.
Thanks, boys. Easy getting up. Take still. Don't give it away.
Just wonder whether Port Adelaide should pull the trigger earlier with the sub. Maybe take Matty Lobie off. Hasn't had a big influence. Lobie hasn't been rucking like they would hope so this year. Maybe chuck Ryder into the ruck. Use Westhoff and Trengove in the ruck like they did last year. Get Amon on and try and get some more run in their side.
Well, Corns caught one there, but just recovered in time to get a handball out. And again, they go forward. Not very systematic, though. Hunt, Batchelor, back to Taylor. Hunt again. Rush the handball to Chaplin. Hot potato there, but they get away. He was legged.
Yeah, they've been good in tight, Richmond, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They've had good awareness of when to handball, even if it's been rushed.
Jared, what do you think about pulling the sub early? They need to take a risk and get Amon into the game and get rid of one of these big men. And last year they rucked all year with Lobie, and then they just used Westhoff or Trengove.
I think it makes a lot of sense, Roo. If Paddy Ryder had kicked three, then maybe you'd say you wouldn't do it. But he hasn't really got in. Here's your man, your toy bit. Maybe they take Ryder off the ground. But this is a bloke, I suspect, is under threat because it releases Ryder and Westhoff.
It needed a good kick, and it was provided by Lobie to find Monfries. So still the standoff continues in this third term. 8.5 minutes without a goal. The pressure continues to build on Port. Ryder needs to jump.
Get involved.
And he jumped, but he just couldn't drag it down.
Got his mitts to it.
Quickly the ball tossed up by the umpire. It's there for Corns. Couldn't get the effective handball away, but great tackle from Ebert. Well, they try to take the advantage, surely not. It was a crazy decision in the first place. Get out of jail.
Tackle was Dobby this one.
Was it Wingard or Ebert?
I think when he said you got the free, he was talking the team's got the free.
Right.
So, Chad Wingard.
Probably kicked this.
I don't think so. It's a behind, and they just nudge slightly closer, but that's all. Just two behinds closer for the quarter.
This is the game here. This is the smart play from Richmond to keep it wide. And they'll take it out of bounds here. They're happy with a neutral ball. A stoppage, start again.
Took a mark like that, Kingy.
They don't like that. That's what they don't want, Hutto.
Back into the middle. Doesn't open anything up. Amazingly, but Monfries called on again. He got a free. It was really a 50-50, that one.
It was an interesting kick because it was really dangerous.
Shallow entry, wasn't it?
The turnover here is just fraught with danger. There's the little hook under the arm. Humphries made the most of it. But further down the ground, you've got the combination of Wingard and Ryder. If you go deeper, it just seems a safer option. But
it'll take his best effort, Angus Monfries. Kicks from inside the 50. It's straight, but is it long enough? It is! The crowd on their feet at the Adelaide Oval.
Should that one have been touched, Roy?
Should it have? I think it went over there and square.
It looked like there was a cannonball effect on the goal line. There's the turnover. Good work from Nathan Cracker, and he's another one of the defenders who has to get into the game if they're to generate these multiple entries inside forward 50. And finally the free kick given.
He's played a pretty good game, Angus Monfries. 13 disposals, 2 goals, 1.
Merritt's just didn't get to the line.
Not sure what Ivan was doing. It looked as if he could have just about reached up and put a finger on it.
Lobe gets the tap. Is that the fire starter for Port? They're forward through Gray, but Hooley, a bit of confusion amongst the Tigers. And Monfries almost fell in the back there. A few almost in there for the umpire to deal with. Gray saying no, not in the back. 4-8. Port Adelaide have kicked tonight to 7-5. There's your intercept marks. McIntosh comes away again to a 50-50. Great fly from White. Can he turn defence into attack? Needs to be pretty nimble under there. Not be penalised.
We'll just add those intercept marks on the screen for the quarter. 6 to Port Adelaide. Now that's the game. Richmond are trying to take that off them. Playing wide, playing slow. If Port can intercept, they'll score. Richmond got to be careful how they counter-attack.
Westhoff, creative handball back to Cracker, and he decides to go for broke. Handball to the ruckman, who wasn't really ready for it.
Over the back.
He made good. Can they get it over the back? They can. Oh, Monfries was ready, a split second away. He's still in the game, and Grimes takes no chances whatsoever. We're down to 14.
They've got the dangerous small forwards up there, haven't they, Jared? In Monfries and Wingard. They just got to give them enough supply. They get the ball down forward. We've been saying that all day and through half-time, looking at different options, but they're dangerous enough. You just got to get it there.
Miles.
That's why the shallow entries are difficult to accept as the right way to go about it. Because all their danger is in and around the 20-metre mark from their goal square.
Just the initial contact high there. It's down to 14 points right now. Grimes to a crowded half-back. Marriage showing great initiative.
Better word from Ivan. He wasn't going to get shepherded out that time.
He knew where it was going to drop.
He made the front move and won the ball well.
Kicks to Revo. Down the line, it's hung a fair while. Pittard can spoil. And Menju, who was the sub when things started tonight, hasn't knocked away.
Well, once again, they've got plenty of time in forward 50, Port Adelaide, but are unable to make a major dent on the scoreboard. There's Amon. He's desperate to get on the ground.
Jared, I'll just give you one little tip. Don't call him Ivan Merrick. It's Ivan. Okay.
Oh, there's a fumble from Cracker. How costly will it be? Frustration.
It's a little bit fired up, the big fella, if you call him Ivan.
Spoke to him during the week, actually. He's about to go into a meeting as the president of one of the local soccer
St Albans Soccer Club.
He is a ripping fella, Ivan.
Corns to Hartlett. Cochin got it out. Martin. Big Justin Westhoff heaved it onto the boot. Tough one for Wingard. And Hooley is back out there. Wines, they come for him. The scrap goes on. A little shove.
Jared, this is the other tactic I think Richmond have used. They've got high numbers around these stoppages, really shutting down the exits. You can see a player in the corridor, just not allowing them to come out with any speed at all.
Gray hacks it forward. Schiltz out of position, but he got there in the nick of time. Tough for Rance. Wines, they stay on their feet. Ryder shakes off one, dumps it with Eben, and he adjusted the kick, but not the right amount. Now Boak, can he dictate turns? No, he can't. McIntosh arrives, saves the day for the Tigers, tries to get out of there. He can't. They've ramped it up. He goes again, McIntosh. Kicks it out on the full.
Well, that's unfortunate because that was an incredibly good individual effort from McIntosh. To get over to support. Then he got his first possession. He was dumped. He got back up again. And then finally, look at that for recovery. No point being on the ground. That is great stuff. Unfortunately, couldn't quite execute the kick.
So Travis Boak glances into the 50. It's filled with Tigers. Got some of his own big men down there. Settles on Ryder. Schultz tries to bustle, but Big Ivan drags down the mark. So Marriage on that last line. What a terrific recruit he's been for the Tigers from the Crows.
Got to get some. They've got to get a break here, the Tiger defenders. They just cannot continue to withstand this incredible onslaught from Port Adelaide. Doing a great job at the moment, just conceding a few points. But
11 inside 50s, Jared, to 1.
The dam will break eventually. The best way to break it is to get one slip into your own forward line and kick a goal against the trend.
Marriage, no free kick. Lobe got a hand to it. Pensive crowd. Edwards ducked. The umpire saw it as we did.
Just about gut Port Adelaide, Roo. If Richmond can get the next goal after everything they've spent, all the energy they've spent in this majority of the third term, to get one against the flow would be a killer.
Hit hard. Had to wait. And he took it out.
That is deliberate too.
I've got one goal from 11 inside 50s there. That last going forward, Brad even missed Travis Boak. They've just got to take their chances.
I reckon if you're going to play it against Jack Trengove over on the other side, that one was closely related.
Big Ivan again trying to control the airwaves. Sam Gray, that was handy play. They get out through Ebert, and the big left boot of Jack Humph goes woof. Kicks it inside 50. Paddy Ryder takes the mark.
Well, he could kick this, boys, and get the distance. It's a long one, but he could get it.
Does he think he can get it?
He's only going to kick from 51, 52. He can kick a long way. There's no wind.
The numbers say it's a 1 in 3 chance, Root.
Sometimes they take him.
They've been coming and coming, Port Adelaide. They're still on their way, and they're getting closer after that goal is landed. But
touched.
So your call is touched behind. Score review. Umpire's call is touched. Can we please ensure that it was touched?
Gives everyone a break.
On the line, what's that? Has to be over the line, doesn't it?
Yeah. Looks like it's touched. If Ivan touched it, of course, that is. Could be a brave overall on that, isn't it?
Well, if it's inconclusive, it goes to the behind.
Get his 10, doesn't it?
Firm behind.
They can't take a trick, Port Adelaide, but that was the right decision, I think.
Once again, it was a goal that could have gone through if the Shepherd had been there on the line.
True.
Good job by Ivan.
He's in it again, Ivan.
Made up for the one he should have got before.
Hold on.
So 6 minutes 41.
12 inside 50s to 1, Hutto, this quarter.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Just hasn't been able to get past the middle of the Tigers. Alice.
It's now 39-28 inside 50s for the game.
The clearances for the third term.
Well, they're totally dominant. I don't think we've ever seen a side as dominant with so little effect on the scoreboard in a quarter.
Alice. They're just bobbling around. No one can control it.
It's a worthwhile route pushing the players up and just changing it up, putting Chad Wingard down the goal square by himself, or Robbie Gray.
You could do it, definitely could. They just got to get it down there with speed if they're going to play those smalls as their target. That's the only problem. A lot of it's been bombed in.
Well, they sorted that out very well. Down the line goes the kick from Alice. He got one as it went. Delidio. This is a bold move forward from the Tigers. Morris. Menenju. One-on-one inside is Big Griffiths. Holmes going to have to pull something out of the hat here. He did a great job. Who's going to get up first? And McIntosh came sliding through. Well done, Jack Holmes.
It's been good all day, Holmes. Griffiths decided to get him to kick it in long. He could have ducked and weaved and created a couple of metres, but well done, Holmes.
Lobie. Oh, fumble from Boak. The Tigers pounce.
Gee, they were hungry there, the Tigers.
Yeah, they all came, didn't they? All dived in. Morris, bodies flailing around everywhere.
I still think Port Adelaide need to pull the trigger of that sub, Jared, and get some run into this game. They're not going to win by playing the way they are, I don't think.
Gray. And shove. It's over the line and out of bounds. Marriage is such a towering figure. Maybe they think they need to take him on.
He's no bigger than Ryder or Lobie.
There's a lot of faith, though, being shown in a kid who's just played the one game to get him on, and I think he's going to make a difference.
Well, just get some run in the game. You've been talking about it all day. They need to get run from somewhere. They're not going to get it from Matty Lobie or Matty Ryder.
That was exquisite by Gray. He had to really think it through. White knew what he had in his back pocket, up his sleeve as well. Pittard across to Wines, and now to White. High ball, Impey has to wait and then charge after it. Captures it eventually, and Schultz.
Well, it was just unbelievable running from Impey. He wasn't favoured with a good kick. It was a dud kick, and it forced him to the line and allowed Richmond to cover pretty well.
And they're careful on the way out, not 15. That wasn't in the game plan, but they recover okay. Careful use of the ball. McIntosh seen him at both ends tonight. He's worked really hard, the young man.
Move it on, please. Play on. Thank you.
Back to the wing. Down to Delidio. Couldn't really go forward to anyone because there simply wasn't anyone there. Young Alice, here's Pittard. Carlisle was at the face he needed to come on the scene. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it out of there.
Roo, the problem with the Richmond plan at the moment, they're playing wide, they're happy to have a stoppage game, but they're being belted at the stoppages. 12-4 for the quarter. They need to tidy up their stoppage work. This game is right in the balance right now.
Somehow they're surviving without scoring the Tigers in this quarter.
And that's why Port Adelaide need to maximise this opportunity, because I don't think they can do much more with this style of footy.
Interesting to see what sort of physical and mental toll this quarter takes. If it remains a bit of a stalemate for the quarter, heading into the last. And Kane Corns provides some inspiration for them. Cochin craft the kick in.
Started behind that time. He read it better than Jack Rewald.
Yeah, well done, Bobby.
He was on alert. Now Honch has to trust his skills. It's almost on the full,
isn't it?
Throw it in. Have a look at Honch's nose. Honch's nose, bundle. Possible. Honch. Hang on, boy. Bundle.
Let's have a look at Brett Delidio here, boys.
Bundle Port Adelaide.
Just coming through. Gets a little bump from Ebert. Grabs his wrist or his forearm.
Just got him on the elbow. Might have been on the funny bone, which is never that funny.
Jared, what would you do if you're the midfield coach of the Tigers right now? With the clearances sliding the way they are, and Port look like they're getting some speed into the game at the moment.
Well, all you can do is throw your guns at the ball. At the moment, it's not costing them, but I'm with you. If it doesn't change, it will end up getting them. When they need Dustin Martin basically to play man-on-man and win, that time he ball watched, and his direct opponent takes the ball away.
Boak with the initiative, kicks to half forward, tough one to handle Shields. Ryder showed them all how to do it, gives to Wines. Oh, into the pocket, gee, low percentage. Tough for Gray, too tough.
There's no one to kick to.
Yeah, but there was one there. If Ryder immediately goes to goal, he wants to do a U-turn. Sometimes you just got to take a half option and get it down there.
Well done, Cracker. Forces the 50-50.
Let's have a look at what he's got to look at here.
He's got one bloke running to the goal
over
square.
the top to Monfries.
Monfries is the option, and the whole play is swarming forward. Once you turn around, Richmond's defence has been superb.
Boak is well shut down on that occasion. Cracker goes to ground, tries to get up. Gray the same. No elbow room for either side there. Damien Hardwick on the phone.
Well, incredibly, Kingy, all the numbers that we've talked about through the week, time in forward half, clearances, contested ball. Port Adelaide are winning all of those, and yet they can't score.
If this game continues the way it is, Jared, they will get them. They will overrun them, Port.
And again a clearance for Port Adelaide. This time Wingard. Can he do something constructive? It was a good effort, Gray, but again overwhelmed by the numbers. Is there a way out for the Tigers along the line? And boundary first is their thought process. Pittard goes off the ground.
I think Port Adelaide has just got to try and take the champagne footy element out of it a bit more and just go to Ryder and kick it long, get the bypass players to run. Just a bit of old-fashioned football, but get it inside your forward 50 into a dangerous spot rather than mucking around with it. Short kicks around the boundary.
Finally, they win a clearance, and with good effect to half forward. Cracker. Revolts captured him effectively. And they'll have the ball up.
Richmond can get a goal and shatter Port Adelaide at the moment. Good tackle here by Jack. Would have been easy to get him too high there.
Back in motion again with Martin.
Good hands.
To Batchelor. They stay a step ahead.
Rewald looks dangerous. Rewald is on his own. Can they find him?
Tough one for Hunt. Big contest. And it goes Port Adelaide's way. Impey to Gray. In and out. Rusted under the boot. No advantage. It's a pity for Port. We'll give the Tigers time to provide some coverage. It's got to come all the way back to Sam Gray.
He's given the Tigers a chance to draw a breath and get numbers back.
Sam Gray's form in the SANFL, getting back in with a chance. 23-year-old, just his 8th game. Kane Corns. Just over a quarter footy remaining. Doesn't want to turn it over. Gray has to kick in a rush fashion, and you can see the result. That was a bit messy by Port. There's just under 2 minutes remaining in this so tight, this third quarter.
This is where Richmond need Cochin, Delidio and Martin to become elite leaders in this competition. They need to go into the midfield and arrest the stoppage problem. Damien Harwick challenged them week in, week out. Troy Chaplin talked a big game last week. It's now when they need them. This next quarter of football is huge for Richmond.
Batchelor to Ellis. They've been able to contain Port Adelaide, contain the damage in this term, but there's still a minute 20 remaining. Cooley. Doesn't see anything he likes, so it's down the line again. Westhoff from behind to Spoil, does that effectively. Grimes was the flyer, and it's out one more time.
Last couple minutes.
16 to 14 the turnovers for this quarter. Produced 1 goal for Port Adelaide. Not even a score for the Tigers. They might be able to do it in the last 60 seconds.
They've been inside 50 just 3 times. That's 12 for the game on average. It's incredible, Rook.
Yeah, they've just dominated possession, Port Adelaide, in the forward half, but
nothing to show for it.
Hasn't been super dangerous at all. But it's bordering on. You're only a kick away, aren't you, from a goal when you're in the forward 50.
40 seconds now for Port Adelaide. Will they be positive here and go for a goal? Jonas has to hit White, and he knew it, and White knew it too, and he backs himself to see off Hunt, and then kicks back into the crowd again.
That was probably the time, and it's easy with hindsight from up here, but that was probably the time he needed to hold up. There was nothing down the line. The inside kick was the only option to go to goal.
Now it's 25 seconds for the Tigers to try and utilise the ball. Maybe get one last shot at it in this quarter.
I think they'll be able to bank this lead, Root.
Yep. Down the line, Marriage, Lodi and Delidio all involved. Tringo there coming up. Big Avan is resting forward at the moment. Leaving the ruck duties with Ben Griffiths. Ty Vickery subbed out of the game with a knee injury earlier. Carl Amon in his second game remains the sub as we head towards three-quarter time. Cochin. Cracker. Gray. Boak. A fumble. They converge. Miles. Seconds on the clock. Whoa, there's always going to be about to bounce. And an incredible quarter of football. Only produced 1 goal. 14 inside 50s to 5 for 1 goal for. Richmond did not score, but they lead by 13 points. What is ahead in this last quarter? It's Kane Collins as last.
Riders in the ruck. Loby's off the ground. Westhoff is the tall, but they're going with Chad Wingard in the goal square. So they have changed it up completely. Maybe Loby, they'll just interchange Ruckman from the bench. Or when Loby comes on, maybe the big boy goes down forward again.
Crowd of 45,000 at the Adelaide Oval watching as Ivan Maric sends Richmond forward to Jack Revolt. Ever dangerous tonight. He's made life difficult down there. He's just kicked the 2 goals on Carlisle, but in a low-scoring game, they've been pretty important ones. Pokes it into the pocket. Now it's an easy mark taken by Trengove. Easy fodder for the Port defence, but
there's really nothing kicked. It was a 3-on-1 situation.
Nothing for him here, though. He's kicked to an outnumber against well done Ryder. McIntosh restricted them a little bit, but Miles gets the kick in the end, and Ebert puts his body where it needed to be, and the ball out of bounds. Trengove's
look at Trengove. Gee, I reckon he's hobbling on his good leg. Let's have a look at him.
Gets tangled there right of frame, and he's got away.
It's Murphy's law. As soon as you make a sub, someone gets crook.
Ebert to Amon. Here he is, pinpointing Hopsch. Yeah, he cannot move down there, Trengove.
It's a good start from Amon. And he's got some run. He wants to make an impact.
Oh, too
terrible all day.
The bloke, no mark, but didn't matter. Martin.
2 goals Richmond need.
Oh,
well, he can't move.
Oh no, it's going to cost them a goal.
Gee, that is unbelievable. Poor bugger, he couldn't move.
Grab the jumper. As it turned out, it may not have been a goal, but
let's have a look at the injury on the right.
Shane.
Hard to tell what really happened.
Just maybe a severe twist of the ankle, but he's coming off now, being helped off very slowly and painfully off the ground. And the pain will grow for the Port Adelaide fans as Jack Revolt delivers his 3rd. And it's 19 points in a low-scoring affair.
Well, that's one. I reckon if they can get one more, that'll be enough. It's hard to see Port Adelaide going on a goal-kicking spree. They may be able to just edge their way back into this. But Richmond, they're not far away from just having this one sealed.
One of the problems there is his teammates didn't seem to be aware around him that he was playing.
But was he yelling out to him? Who knows?
Oh, don't know.
Who knows?
It started with a poor kick on the half-back flank to Boak.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that was a calamity for Port Adelaide. Bad kick across the half-back line, exposes an injured player. And a goal on the board.
The response starts with Ollie Wines. He's tried to angle the kick for Boak to get on the end of. The captain arrives. He's well and truly captured in the pocket by Grimes. He shows enough to the umpire.
Tackled well tonight, Richmond, haven't they? Really good tackles. Port have killed him in the centre clearances all day, haven't they? Jared, we spoke about they've been poor at the start of the year, but they've won tonight 11-4.
Well, they've corrected just about everything that they needed to correct, bar what happens when the ball goes inside forward 50. It just hasn't worked for them at all.
Robbie Gray with another 10 clearances tonight. He had 11 last week. He can hardly do much more. McIntosh down the line. Gained some more territory. We've seen a lot of this tonight, haven't we?
Haven't we? It's been a pretty ugly game, really, to watch. Very defensive. But, as Kingy said earlier, very smart by Richmond not to give Port any opportunities to bring the ball back through the middle and move it fast so that their clever forwards can have an impact.
Ryder's follow-up was good. Martin held on for a little while. Not long enough, said the umpire. Amon.
Westhoff deep one-on-one.
Interesting handball, Greg. Delidio.
Got an outnumber here, Port Adelaide.
And Hobbs should be able to... Oh, we've got a tough little bounce. And that forces him to the line as the seconds tick away.
Been good, Holmes.
Needs a spark, coach. He's got the effort. Needs a creative spark.
Great steal from Gray. That's his 11th clearance. To half forward. Chaplin not particularly interested in trying to keep it in.
Gray's been the one that's sort of held up his form all year, really. And he might be the one that can turn an average clearance into a goal-scoring opportunity.
Sean Briggy's opponent, he's had a pretty good month as well for the Tigers.
Marriage on his own terms. Grigg, some territory gain. Again to the outnumber, but Griffiths, oh, he might have drawn a free. No. Or fumble from Corns. How costly. It still might be. Martin, Revolt, Carlisle's just a step.
Just hasn't been able to make up the 2 or 3 metre space that he's too often afforded him.
Revolt tries to map out a plan.
Have a crack at it, wouldn't you?
He's got nothing deep really at all except Hooley. It was a calculated kick from Morris, who was amazingly executed by Revolt because there was no obvious tall targets.
Matty White there. Great. It was a perfect kick for what he was trying to do. Maybe not getting enough respect there, Morris.
15 gone. Go on there, Ollie. Thanks, mate.
His defender's not even in the screen.
It's been one of the big moves forward this year. As we said, not so much about kicking goals, but now he has to do what forwards are there primarily to do, which is convert, but he just misses and keeps Port in the game. Oh, Holmes. Well, it could have been a free, not paid. Can they get out? Can they escape?
Gee, look at this.
Impey has to fly against 2. Oh, man, it's taken high.
That's just great defence from the Tigers. Set it up beautifully. Really has exposed Port Adelaide for an inability to get the ball out of defence. And we saw it on 2 occasions. They went out one way, nearly mucked it up, and came out the other. And finally, another opportunity to put one nail in the coffin.
Hartlett again. Back there, Jared.
He's struggling for form, isn't he? I think he'll be hard-pressed to keep his spot in the side the way he's travelling.
Connor Menadue, just 18 years of age, in his 2nd game of AFL footy, looking for his first goal in the big time. And it's a big-time kick. And they've come for the young man.
How good's that, Jared? When a kid can come out and do that. You see Wingard miss a goal from 15 metres. You see Jay Schultz miss a goal from about the same range. Then you get a kid come in and smash one through from 55 metres.
Well, here's the defence. They push up. It's the frontal pressure all the time, making them rush the kicks. And there's a bloke who's out of form with his ball use. And Hartlett just dropped it too low. And an unfortunate tackle here from Port Adelaide's perspective is Connor Menadue, his first goal.
Well, that is a sensational kick by the young fellow. Have a look at him. I don't think he can believe he's just slotted one through. An important goal as well.
The way he's going, he'll end up with red or orange hair tonight.
Pick 33, 2nd round draft pick for the Tigers last year, the recruit from the Western Jets.
That's a good get then. 33.
26 points the margin now. Port, it is absolutely urgent from here. They've just got to be attacking. Try, find something. Oh, they're running into each other now. Nothing's happening for them. The recovery good though, Homsch. Good awareness for Corns. He was trapped. Jonas, the buck being passed here. Miles, back for Alice. Again, same mantra down the line. Homsch on tired legs, tries to jump. Ball pinballing around. No free space even for a man at his 300th on his farewell. He's hurt too, Kane Corns. Or just tired, maybe just tired. Thought he may have been grabbing his hand.
They've kicked 4 goals for the game, Port, and they have to kick at least 5.
He continues the watch on Cochin.
5 more to win.
There's still time, but not much. Hartlett. Again, he can't find a way out. Impey the next to wear it. Great resilience shown here by the Tigers. Didn't kick a goal in the third term.
Go look at this setup, Hutto. They've got to pull numbers back to the goal square, Port. They've got to create space. It's too dense. They're being shut down immediately as they leave stoppages.
Again, facing the same problem.
Have they got any run in the legs here, the Power? Let's see what they're made of here. It's not the season on the line yet, but it's a fair way to it. Well, you lose this game and you're starting to think whether they can make the 8.
Yeah,
how much do they want it?
Thoughts of top 4 start to disappear pretty quickly, don't they? It's just...
Well, they couldn't have put out more than they did in the third quarter. Yep. The issue is they got another gear left.
That's right.
St Kilda just taken us. Have Richmond taken away their absolute desire and belief that they can win?
Well, Pittard was trying, but unfortunately...
But I think that's what it's come to. There's blokes trying and they're overcooking the ball. But Hartlett doing it, trying to overkick the ball. That time Pittard was left with no real option and just blazed away.
Grimes tries one on for Griggs, but Ryder, an impediment to that. He's done enough. Drawn a free.
Gee, umpire from 100 metres away paid that free.
Ryder back into the middle. Is that the way forward? Well, not yet. Ross decides not to fly. White goes by hand. They'll come for Kane Corns. Feeds it back to Pittard and to Corns again. Had to kick under duress. Did it well. They're trying to keep it moving. Aim onto Pittard with a bit of a run up. Big kick. Does Gray fly? West off the fingertips.
When you say season on the line, it's obviously depends on what your definition of the season is. If it's just to make the 8, well, clearly they're still in the run. But coming in, they had themselves, I think, as much as anybody else in premiership contention mode. And if they're not making top 4, it's history says virtually impossible to get there.
Yep.
And again, deliberate not paid by the umpires. We look at the live ladder. Richmond will go up into the 8 with this win.
Haven't they put in 7 fantastic quarters? They were 30 points down at quarter time only last week against the Pies and have been brilliant since. They've still got the job to do to finish this off, but they have turned their year around with 7 great quarters, given they get the 4 points here.
Protected the space there, but ducks inside. Monfries and Wingard were both on offer, and Wingard takes the mark and absolutely can't miss this if they've got any chance.
It was good early. Wingard had 8 touches or so in the first quarter. Then he was involved in all the goals in the second quarter. Now he's coming out for his 18th disposal. Kick 1, goal 2.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. 15 gone. Thank you, mate. You have a shot on goal, please.
Still a bit going on. Ooh, just eased it through Wingard. There's still hope. There's still life.
Definitely hanging in. They are the sort of side with so much talent. If they can get stoppage clearance, the centre clearance in particular, and get the ball inside forward 50, we know they've got the talent, but they just haven't been able to find a way to do it in consecutive minutes so far tonight. And Richmond have been also, they've just locked it up so well. It's hard to see the way, but while there's 10 minutes, 11 minutes of play remaining, game's still alive.
So the crowd doing their best. They finally get a response from the players of Port Adelaide. Wingard, the goal kicker. We haven't yet reached the halfway point of this final term.
It's now, Kingy. It's now for Cochin and Delidio and Martin, because they've got a final sniff here, Port Adelaide.
They have. They've got some space. They've got some space too forward of centre, Port.
They're crashing in.
They are, aren't they?
Here's Wingard again. Hartlett made the step, and what a handball. Don't try that at home. Kick forward low, but he didn't go anywhere. Alice out to McIntosh. He's waited the kick.
Close to a free kick.
Not given to Delidio. Oh, Griffiths shook it off beautifully, the big man.
Around the corner. He could have just straightened with the drop punt.
Revolt!
Good pass.
Up the chimney.
Well, that started from a Dustin Martin smother in the middle of the ground. You called for it, Kingy and Jared. And that's where it started from.
There he is, the big bull, Dustin Martin.
This is as hard as Jack Riewoldt worked for a long time tonight.
Been impressive, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's actually really led the way with work rate. He's put Carlisle to the sword and he's failed.
This for 4 goals. He's been a real team player. And right now, the best thing for the team is to go back and coolly and calmly slot this. And that's exactly what Jack does.
Well, that's 4 goals for Riewoldt, and he has been fantastic. Worked really high up the ground early in the game. As you said, tried to tire out Bobby Carlisle, and then Bobby dropped off on a couple of legs. There's the smother that we talked about that started it. That was close to being a free kick for Delidio. Not paid. Play on. Honks makes a rare error. Griffiths didn't nail the kick at all, but great grab by Riewoldt.
It's just got him for mobility too often tonight.
Very satisfying for Jack Riewoldt and the Tigers. That goal takes them back out to 25 points. Still there's time for Port though, because we're only at the midpoint of the quarter. And Marriage looking for more. Delidio. Oh, it's the free. Yeah.
And has a chance to essentially ice the game.
Impey was just grasping there, wasn't he?
He's got some talent, Impey. He's going to be a player for the club for a long time. I like his work rate. He's a runner.
Have a look at this runner. It's not even, wouldn't even be 10 metres.
Kicked some big goals for them last week. Brett Delidio. And here he is in line to do it again. May not make the distance.
Get any momentum.
That's the danger, I suppose, with the short run-up, isn't it?
That was shorter than...
What's
short?
Taken
He got a snip in the last quarter.
A silly proportion, although he did it last week at the G and he flushed them.
Oh well.
The margin 26. Westhoff in the sights there. Takes the mark really well. Moves it on. Aim on. Getting back further into trouble. The big steal. Oh, he hits the post.
Did it flush too?
Gee.
Homsch.
It would have been curtains.
Instead, it's Hartlett on the way forward. He butchered that one. They've been their own worst enemy at times.
He's kicking at 29% today, Hamish Hartlett.
He's really in a low patch at the present time.
Make that 25% after that kick.
Tosh did enough. Miles. More meterage gained. There's a great mark from Hodge, and he powers on through, jumped every obstacle in his way, and bangs it long to full forward. The wrestle was on. Free kick paid.
Well, Jack Hodge can hold his head high. He's had 20 disposals, 11 marks. He's been very good. Hardly seen Jay Shields for a while. He's been quiet. Hasn't kicked the goal yet.
Had that one shot for goal earlier that we just about put down in the record, and he missed it. This is a tougher equation and so much at stake. Can't make any mistakes from here. Oh. The frustration continues for Port Adelaide. Pooley. Hit hard with the fist. But they need more than that at the moment, Port Adelaide. Richmond 68, Port Adelaide 42. The crowd's silent just about at the moment. Homsch.
Got no one to kick to again.
Wines is going to have to fly. He did, but not paid. Or Rance. Bit slow to react, but got it away.
Oh, they're done here. Look at this.
Yeah, out the back. Grigg at the mercy of the bounce. Had to wait. Just prolonging the agony, though, for Port Adelaide. As Edwards rams through another. And the Tigers are just about there now.
Well, that'll rip the heart out of the Port players, Jared. That has just taken every opportunity to come from behind in this last quarter and win the game. But Jack Homps, he did the hard work. He had no one to kick to in their forward line again. The forward line has just not functioned at all today. Quick turnover and then opened up on the turnover. And Edwards just finished it off. Massive win for Richmond. This is a huge win for the Tigers. Backs up their good performance against Collingwood last week and slowly getting their season back on track.
Gets them back in the game, doesn't it?
Gets them back in the 8 tonight for a start. They want more. They lead by 32. Jack.
He's going for everything.
He's capable of anything right now.
I reckon when you're as low as Port Adelaide has been, they've got to take some positives out of this game. They've got a lot of things right today. And sometimes it takes a competitive loss to turn your season around before you get the win. They take on Melbourne next week, who clearly were superb today, knocking off the Bulldogs. So that's not an easy 4 points that it would have looked this time 24 hours ago.
Cochin, that wasn't the words he wanted to hear from the umpire. Wingard back to the middle. Morris almost thrown away by Grimes to Batchelor. Still looking to inflict some more pain, the Tigers. Delidio almost held again by Impey.
I don't think I've seen Jack Riewoldt play a better game. I know he's kicked a lot more goals, but I've really enjoyed his game. It's just been the complete team game.
Well,
he's kicked big goals.
This game's been as smart as what Kingy's been talked about for the game plan of the whole Tigers, I think, hasn't he? He's worked Bobby over, he's got him tired, and then in that second quarter, when Bobby was tired, he chose not to chase Riewoldt. He got a goal, then straight after he got another one, and that's all smart footy. It's been a pretty impressive performance by Richmond today.
Now Marich. Jack was looking for a free down there.
I think the other talking point out of this is the coaching of Damien Hardwick, because it was only a week and a half ago prior to the Collingwood game that the Wolves were circling. They were ready to come for Damien and put a bit of pressure on the Richmond Football Club, but this has been a fantastic tactical planning performance by Damien and his coaching staff.
There's been a lot of no plan B accusations directed in his way, but as you said, Kingy, he walks away with 4 very valuable points tonight.
The players have executed it perfectly too.
I think the other thing that Port Adelaide need to address, Kingy, is what happens when you've got all your tools in the forward line and it's not working.
I can't wait for the wash-up from this game. Ken Hinkley's message, not just the internal message, but the public message will be what we will pick apart in a lot of ways, because their game has been completely taken off them by the opposition again for the second time in a fortnight.
But I think he'd have to focus on a lot of the things that I know you've discussed. Time in forward 50, clearances, contested ball. The movement of the ball has been pretty good, bar for when it gets inside forward 50.
Here's Kane Corns in his last 5 minutes of football.
In his last game, he's been near on their best.
He's beat Trent Cotchett. Cotchett's had 16 disposals, hasn't really had an impact at all. 13 of those kicks. He's kicking at 38% Cotchett because of the pressure that Corns has put on. Corns has had 25 himself, kicking at 89, 4 clearances, 4 inside 50, so he's been solid.
Impey sees it out. 11-9-75 Richmond. Port Adelaide 5-12-42. Port Adelaide crowd largely staying. A few have drifted off, but largely staying, I'm sure, to pay tribute to Kane Corns. This is a bit of pain in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's pick up now. Well, they're not going to get any more out of Travis Boak. I thought his work rate absolutely superb. Ebert, as always, has worked his way. He's worked himself into the ground. His effectiveness by foot hasn't been as good as it can be. A lot more can come from Westhoff, Ryder, Schultz. Robbie Gray and Wingard both been really good today. Ollie Wines was a great return, despite his kicking efficiency being down, but he gets him in a very tight situation, so there's a bit of upside there. But it's the collective that is the query.
So here's Ivan Maric again. He misses to the left. Pittard misses Boak. Monfries back to Boak again. The captain's still working hard in collaboration through the middle with some of the guns. White ran into a brick wall. Boak kept on coming, and so did Gray. And they ventured through pretty well the middle that time, but again it falls down. Batchelor.
Good body work there by Batchelor.
Tired legs out there now. That one gets through the cracks. Big Lobie harassed by Shane Edwards, who hasn't had a big game. Edwards, just the 1 goal and 11 disposals.
It's been one of those weekends of turnarounds. You don't get the finals victories back, but the Swans beat the Hawks.
Yes.
And there's been a complete change of fortune here, obviously.
Corns. Won't have many to go.
Thanks, John.
It's a good play of Lost, and I like the way he goes about it. Done a good job on Schultz tonight.
34 points the margin. Watch and hacked it forward. Tigers would love another. Looking for a percentage booster right now.
Port supporters will be absolutely scratching their heads at where they're at this footy season. There's still plenty of them here. There's 45,000 people here today, but they'll be scratching their heads as much as Ken Hinkley.
Boak still not giving up.
It's hard to believe they've kicked just 5 goals.
Yep.
You better believe it. As Westhoff gives it to Boak again, and just impacted as he kicked under the pressure there from Alex Rance.
The most exciting side to watch for the last couple of years, weren't they?
Yeah.
They're just brilliant, bringing people to the grounds and doing everything right, but they're not playing exciting footy at the moment.
No, their work rate hasn't been there up until this point.
There's a lot of theories about why.
Yeah, but I think they've turned the corner here today with work rate and getting a lot of things, the core things right. But they've got to finish it off to get the 4 points.
Martin sweeping across half-back now. Port Adelaide. Here's Carl Amon again. A couple of nice instances come on, but they just haven't found any answers, Port Adelaide. They dominated the third quarter, and that's what I think largely what you're talking about, Gerard. They found it all in that third term, didn't they? But just couldn't produce on the scoreboard.
No, they did everything they could to get it inside forward 50 and keep it there, and yet Richmond were just too good in their defence, and when they did have opportunities, Port, they weren't good enough to take them.
You've got Port's percentage on the live ladder, 86.5.
They've just got no game at the moment. Their counter-attack game's absolutely shot. They've scored 8 points tonight on counter-punch out of their defensive half, and as we said, other teams have worked out how to defend against them now. It's going to become a tough road to dig themselves out of this rut they're in.
Like to fall forward. And Hooley got one for his troubles, through from behind. Boak's had 31 disposals. Gray 27. Kane Corns 26. Ebert 25.
Well, Boak knew that he needed to play his best game tonight to try and do everything he could to get them out of the rut, and I don't think he's disappointed in any way, shape or form. He's been in the best view on the ground.
The midfielders in prior weeks have still been racking up the numbers, but not ending up on the scoreboard.
Here's Pittard trying to get adventurous. Hartlett lets fly into the pocket. Monfries thought about leaping, stayed on his feet in the end and felt the crunch. Ellis is buying a bit of time. So we talked about their leaders. Here's Damien Hardwick.
Hey Skip, it's going to be one of these games. I reckon this involves you putting your head in the hole for the remainder of the quarter. All right, and just getting it going forward. All right, hard and tough. Good boy.
So obviously that was earlier in the quarter. Great access from the Tiger camp to allow us to mic up Damien Hardwick. We certainly appreciate that. And we were talking at the time about the likes of Cochin and Delidio and Martin needing to stand up in this last term. And the coach was thinking the same thing, and they've certainly done that.
There's Kane Corns, his last minute of footy coming up. Spoken about the job already that he's done, but what an emotional next few minutes coming up for him.
Yeah, a tough 60 seconds for him here, isn't it? And knowing that they've finished in glorious fashion, Port Adelaide. Play on the call. Umpire had enough. I think he wanted to split it up.
Thank you. They're going now, Anth. Putting it back right now.
Kane Corns, no, this could be his last touch coming up. 300 games, he's been a star. And he kicks into the forward line, his 27th disposal. Might get another one. No, at least not yet. There we go. Number 28. See if we can get him to 30. Boak.
Sissy breaks a good tackle. Travis Boak.
Alex Rance paid the mark. Maybe a little bit generously by the umpire. So the countdown on. And it'll be a glorious sound for the Tiger fans, both here and watching back at home. This has been a terrific performance by the Tigers. A pivotal win. They're in the 8, and they've confined that dreadful final last year to history. Richmond win over Port Adelaide. Kane Corns' glorious career comes to an end after 300 wonderful games. Not the way he wanted to go out, but a stellar career for his team. Much loved. He's given this game absolutely everything. But unfortunately, his team, Port Adelaide, well and truly beaten by the better team tonight.
It's going to be a tough few minutes for Kane Corns now, but
triumph for that man, Damien Hardwick, tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great win away from home for the Tigers.
Yes, as much as it's about Kane Corns, it's also about the Richmond and the victory that they have just taken away from Port.
Let's get down to David King.
Yes, down here with Jack Rewald. Jack, that was a fantastic game, a fantastic team game tonight, wasn't it?
It was, King. Come over to enemy territory, somewhere where we haven't. Obviously, their season ended pretty abruptly last year, mate. Great win for the footy club and our fans.
What about yourself? Your role was a bit different tonight. You still managed to kick your 4 goals, but you worked right up the ground, right back to help your defenders.
Yeah, probably changed a little bit once Tyrone got injured. Yeah, mate, it's playing my role from the side. 3 keys have worked well for us. Unfortunately, Tyrone's injured tonight, but we've got another kid, Liam McBean, who was unlucky not to get a game this week. He'll probably step straight back in. And look, just can't stress enough how big this is for our footy club, for our fans, all 68,000 of our members. It's a fantastic win for the Army of the Yellow and the Black.
Do you feel like you've turned the corner now? Do you feel like you're a bona fide finals team now?
Oh, look, mate, we just take it 1 week at a time. This is obviously a really tough week. Come back to a fortress here where a side that was playing for a guy who's played 300 games of footy, for us to step up, and a lot of our younger guys to step up, it's really great for us.
Good on you, mate. Go and enjoy this one.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Big achievement for the Tigers. He's right. Could have smiled, perhaps, Jack, but he summed up really well how much that win tonight means to them. But these next few minutes belong now to Kane Corns. Yes, he's making his way down where the Tigers are going to line up to pay tribute as he exits the arena, but he's paying his own tribute to the support he's got from the fans. He's seen this all sides of footy, hasn't he, Kane Corns? In his early days, he was a premiership player on the mighty MCG when the club made history back in 2004, and then lived through the dark days. And